Hey everybody, welcome to Last Call at McLaren's, a How I Met Your Mother podcast. I'm Josh Rayner. I run Merc with Movie Blog, and I'm here with my best bud, John. John, how you doing today?
I'm good. My name is John Maid. I'm that guy who sits next to this guy in multiple podcasts.
It's true. It's true. Usually on the same side.
Good. What can I say?
I do. You know, as good as I can.
It's a lot of work.
That is true. All right, so we're here to talk about Season 1, Episode 3 of How I Met Your Mother, entitled Sweet Taste of Liberty.
This is by far, out of all the episodes, my all-time favorite.
Wow. Early on, so it's all downhill from here for John.
I mean, this is the episode that started me thinking that I didn't have a bucket list and I need to have things to accomplish before I die. And this is the episode that spawned the number one thing on my bucket list.
Fair enough. I like it. All right. So, Sweet Taste of Liberty aired originally October 3rd of 2005. Once again directed by Pamela Fryman, but this time around we have some different writers.
Ooh.
You may know these guys. Phil Lord and Chris Miller wrote this episode. You may know them as the guys behind the Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movies. You may know these guys as the minds behind Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But John may know them as the brilliant people behind the not-so-hit show Clone High. That's right. One of our faves. Yeah, these guys did that show, and now they're doing this episode. When I saw that, I was like, oh, shit. I didn't know that these guys worked on How I Met Your Mother. All right.
We'll take it.
Yeah, man.
My favorite episode.
Yeah. I feel like it makes sense. All right. So the summary for Season 1, Episode 3, Barney convinces Ted to pick up girls at the airport. This leads them to a weird night out. With Marshall busy studying, Lily and Robin go for a girls' night out. Suffering from FOMO, Marshall agrees to meet up with the guys in Philly.
Yep.
All right. So we start out the episode with future Ted. He's telling his kids about this one night he wanted to go out to the bar, and they just slam him down. They call him out like, you spent a lot of time at bars.
Yep, you're always at the bar.
You're always at the bar. That's just what we did back then. I just thought that was hilarious. Because it's true. I mean, obviously, as you watch the show, like, the bar has been all, if not all episodes, if not most episodes.
I thought that they missed a really great opportunity here to take a dig at another show, though.
Okay.
Where the kids are like, oh, you spent a lot of time in the bar, didn't you? And he should have been like, well, you know, the coffee house craze was dead.
Dude, that would have been great.
I mean,
what'd you expect us to do? Hang out at a coffee shop? Oh, dude, that would have been good, man. That's a definite missed opportunity. So we go back to 2005. Ted, Marshall, Lily are walking to the bar. Ted is talking to Barney on the phone, who's in a cab. Barney wants to break Ted out of his rut. He wants to be the rut buster. He wants to bust his rut.
You know, he knows that typically when they go to McLaren's, they have this much fun. But he's promising that tonight will be this much fun. But Ted knows that if they go to McLaren's, this much fun is obtainable. When you promise this much fun, Ted would rather have this much fun because this much fun he doesn't think they can achieve.
It's true. And for those of you listening on the podcast on Anchor or wherever you listen, you're feeling exactly like Barney and Ted did in the episode. Because you couldn't see all the hand movements. Yes. So here we get our very first legendary.
No, we got a legendary in the very pilot episode.
No, we didn't.
We did, because you talked about it.
No, we talked about how they didn't do a legendary. Because he did something else and you commented on it.
I think he did awesome or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, he said some other word and you thought it was really weird that he didn't say legendary.
But I think it's weird, though, that the first legendary isn't normal, like what we become accustomed to.
No.
It's literally just like, it's gonna be legendary.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, he does a wait for it later on.
Yes,
but it's not even the like typical wait for it. It's actually my favorite legendary wait for it, to be honest with you, which we'll get to when we get there. But yeah, we finally get the legendary as well as his first high five.
Yes,
he does a high phone five in this one, and that's something that comes back throughout. And the legendary is the thing that becomes the running gag through this episode.
Yeah,
because he says it so many times in this episode.
So many times.
Like he almost wears it out. You know what I mean? It gets a little much.
It debuts and almost goes away.
It's true. So then Barney pulls up in the cab, tells them to get in. And I love how Marshall barely has to give him an excuse to get out of it.
Yeah.
And Barney's just like, I understand. And Ted's like, why does Marshall not have to go? And he's just like, because he's getting laid. And I was like, you know what? It's true. And it's funny because like Marshall, you know, he's like consistently. And so like Barney and Marshall obviously have this thing here where they respect that part, you know, but you see later on where they make fun of him for that.
Yes.
You know, because he's only been with the one girl.
Well, I thought it was funny though, because he tells Marshall it's okay that he doesn't go because Marshall's getting laid. He respects that. But then Marshall sits at home all night and all he's doing is reading a book.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Because, well, I mean, we don't know what he was going to say either.
True.
You know,
that is true.
No clue what he was going to say, but yeah, he does. He just winds up sitting at home the whole time anyways and winds up coming with them or like starting to go out there.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Ted begrudgingly agrees and they wind up going to the airport. Which I'm just like I remember the first time I watched this, I'm just like, what? Why are they at the fucking airport? You know, because if you've never seen it, you don't know what's going on, and it doesn't seem to make sense. Because he said he needed to pick up someone from the airport. I'm like,
pick someone up from the airport.
Who the fuck are they picking up? Well, we soon find out. Because Barney's plan is to pick up girls at the airport, pretending to be international businessmen.
We are international businessmen
on an international business trip.
Tuck in your shirt, Ted.
Yeah, and that comes back too, which I love.
It does.
Yeah. Like you said, Marshall, he's at home studying. So Lily and Robin go out together for a girls' night out. Robin begins getting all kinds of attention from guys, comically so. Like, it's just ridiculous, the amount and the way these dudes are coming up to her. Now, maybe like I'm not a girl, so I don't get that kind of attention. So maybe that's how it is. I have no idea.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd have to ask some ladies if that is an accurate depiction of a night out at the bars. But it seems fairly comical to me.
I mean, ladies, if you're listening, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. And Lily, she's just getting ignored. Well, like the whole time.
So bad.
Yeah. So then back at the airport, Ted tries picking up a girl unsuccessfully. And this is where we get one of John's favorite lines here.
Yes.
Go for it, bro.
Barney walks up and he's like, well, that, what do they call it?
Oh, that turnstile.
The turnstile over there, all wiped out. And by the way, girls from Buffalo are not hot.
Well, I think specifically he says cute girls are not from Buffalo.
Cute girls are not from Buffalo.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry.
Dude, I knew that line was coming, and I still cracked up laughing when he said it. Because if you guys randomly...
all-time favorite line.
Yeah. If you guys randomly didn't watch the first episode with us, I don't know why, but if you didn't, then you wouldn't know that we are from that area. Western New York. John even lived in Buffalo for a little while. So I worked out in Buffalo for a while.
Yeah.
So it hits close to home for us, and it really made us laugh. So I don't know. I enjoyed that one. He then launches Ted over some luggage in order to get the attention of some girls, which I thought was great.
Handsome and clumsy buffoon. Boom!
Right over. They then learn that these girls are going to Philly. So Barney tells them that, oh, yeah, we're going there too. And then as they head off to the plane, he rushes off to buy some tickets. And then Ted has a great line here. He says, "Don't you get on that escalator, and don't you dare get on that subsequent escalator." I love it. There's some great little one-liners throughout these episodes, which is just one of the things I love about the show.
Yes.
So Marshall is back at home, and he's singing what he's doing. This is where we get the first time of that happening, which is something that consistently happens throughout the show, and is a big reason why I'm definitely the Marshall of the group, because I do that all the time.
He does
all the time. And he is seriously suffering from some FOMO here, man. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to be out with the guys. Everybody's having a good time, and he's just stuck there, studying law.
Yep.
Ted then calls Marshall to tell him what they're up to, and Barney tells him to meet them in Philly.
I sent you pictures.
I love that. Then at the bar, Robin continues to get hit on, while Lily obviously feeling left out. This is, again, one of those things. They keep bouncing back and forth between the guys and the girls here. So we get a lot of little scenes like that. So then Ted and Barney learn that the two girls both have boyfriends. And those boyfriends happen to be linebackers for the Philadelphia Eagles.
For the Eagles.
Yeah. It's like... It reminded me of the scene from the first episode where Ted sits down with that girl. Yep. And it's like, were they oblivious to the fact that these two guys were hitting on them? Like, I don't understand.
I mean,
because I feel like they weren't being very subtle about it. I don't know. It just seemed, it seemed like they might have been a little oblivious to the fact that that's what was happening here. And even like after they tell them that, the facial expressions that they make, everything is a clear sign to me, but it's never covered at all. And then those girls get off the plane and we never see them again.
But respectively so. They have boyfriends in Philly.
Yes. Yeah, I like that because Barney's like the kind of guy who you would think that wouldn't matter. You know what I mean?
That's true.
But they just drop it, Yeah, which I like. They just kind of move on from all of that stuff. Then we get Lily on the phone with Marshall, telling him about what's going on, and he reassures her that the guys aren't hitting on her because of her engagement ring.
Because, they see the ring, it's a deterrent.
Yeah. He pretty much tells her that he'd be okay if she took it off. And there was a line that, again, cracked me up. Marshall has some fantastic ones where she's like, "Oh, that wouldn't bother you," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get real jealous. Any goon so much as look at y'all, suck him in the kisser. Nah, it's cool. You have a good time."
It's one of those things where, and it comes back. But we talked about how their relationship is very, they're into one another, and that's the thing. And I love how Marshall isn't really a jealous guy, but he is.
Yeah. Like he tries really hard to not be,
Yeah.
He really does. He isn't the kind of guy who's just like instantly, "Oh, I'm going to be jealous." No. He tries really hard not to be, but the jealousy won in that instance, really. All right. So then Ted tells Marshall not to come to Philly. So he turns around. Ted and Barney are taken away by airport security.
And by airport security.
Yes. It's funny, though, too, because in that scene, right before airport security comes in, the dark-haired girl that they were talking to actually walks off the plane. You see her.
Yep.
She gets up and she walks off the plane. So you see her one last time, which I thought was kind of cool because I don't think I'd ever really noticed that before. I never paid attention enough to it to notice that was specifically her. And then, then airport security comes in and is like, Mosby and Stinson, come with us. And so they take them away. They're in the little security shack or whatever. And if you pay attention to the background while the camera is on Ted and Barney, you see the female security guard going through their stuff. Like she's like opening up their phones. Yep. going through their wallets. I thought it was really funny. Something that I just happened to notice on like one of the on like the second or third rewatch of the episode that I did for this. And this is, we learn later on that her name is Sasha. Sasha. Barney insists that they are international businessmen on an international business trip.
Businessmen.
We will be late for our international business meeting. That's right. And then we learned that Barney has done this several times. They have camera footage of some great ones, particularly one where he's hiding inside of a duffel bag, which I loved, and it apparently worked for him.
It worked.
I kind of just want to like ask Neil Patrick Harris about that scene of him just like being inside the duffel bag and having to get out of it, and kind of just because he opens up, he gets out of it, but he gets out of it so like smoothly. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He's not clumsy about it. He's just boom, boom there, and he hits up that girl. It was perfect. It was. I don't know. I loved it. It just every time I watched it, I was like, man, he does such a good job there. Then we go. No, then Ted winds up saying that he wants to call the lawyer. Yeah, and that lawyer winds up being Marshall, obviously, who then turns back around and heads to Philly. This another running gag for this portion of the episode of Marshall going back and forth, turning around.
Yes.
On this, if you look at in the back window of his car, it's like a 3-lane highway.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So like, I guess technically 6. It's 3 on each side. So he's cutting through a lot of traffic when he's doing this each time. Real dangerous. Kind of shocked that no cop ever pulls him over. Just saying. So then Lily trying real hard to get hit on, failing miserably. She like dumps a drink all over herself because she's trying to make all pouty lips. I don't know. I thought that one was hilarious. It was one of the funniest bits that she does in this episode. Then Ted and Barney, we get back to them, and all of a sudden they're zip tied behind their backs with their faces down on the table.
Yep.
And apparently Barney said something because
play the race card.
Yeah, because Ted was like, "You had to play the race card," and I was like, "I want to know what the fuck Barney said, man." But then TSA discovers that all that was in Barney's bags was condoms, and like they open it, and it's like, it's not a tiny luggage bag. No. It's a like a medium-sized luggage bag, and it is packed full of loose condoms.
And a protein bar.
And one protein bar. Just packed full of loose condoms. I thought that was good. And I mean, that's so Barney right there. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? So Barney. So Ted calls Marshall and tells them not to come because they got released. And Marshall's real bummed. And then he says a line that gets us close to the name of our podcast. He says, "Meet us at McLaren's. Maybe we can still make last call." Boom. Yeah. I thought I had to put that in there just because we kind of talked about that in the first episode that we did, where like they had almost said that kind of a thing, and they got real close to it here, just a little out of order. So he does turn around, and then Barney says, "We're gonna go party at Sasha's house." That is the airport security guard.
Yep, she's having some drinks with some friends.
And this is where we get my favorite legendary moment of the entire series. And it's going to be legend. Wait for it. And I hope you're not lactose intolerant, because the second half of that word is dairy. It's my favorite one of all time.
It's probably the best one.
It totally is, because it's so intricate but so perfect. I don't know. I loved it. Marshall turns around again, and then once more after Ted tells him not to come. So he's just like zigzagging his way, through all these lanes of traffic in a very short period of time.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, I don't know how he didn't get pulled over. I guess there's just no cops out there. I don't know.
Who knows?
All right, so Lily approached by a guy, and before he can speak, she freaks out, tells him the truth. Turns out he's gay, and he just wants to tell her she sat on a grape. That sucks, because I bet you it's probably not going to come out. I know he tries to get it out later, but I feel like
I bet he tries to get it out later.
Oh, he does. I mean, he says, "Let's see that booty," or like, "Show me that booty." He says that in the like. I don't think I'd ever caught it before until watching it for this. I was like, "Oh, damn, that dude's just like, show me that booty." It's like, all right, sure, man. Here's some booty for you. So at Sasha's place, Ted and Barney are sitting on a couch with two random guys. Sasha comes in with some hard lemonades.
Hard lemonade.
Philly! Philly! Shh! You'll wake my grandpa. Philly! The night's not going the way they expected. It's definitely not. But it's not going the way anybody expected because as we go back to the bar, we see Robin. She's not happy about the way things are going because all of a sudden Lily's just ignoring her.
Yes.
Because she's trying so hard to get hit on. And it's just not working for her. So then Marshall calls and Robin picks up, learns that Lily actually took the ring off. And he's obviously upset about it, but he doesn't want to admit that. Then we go back. Barney begins talking to the guy that he's sitting next to. His name is Daniel. Finds out he is a security guard at the Liberty Bell. And they come to the conclusion that no one has ever licked the Liberty Bell. And he decides that is a thing that would be legendary.
Legendary.
Yeah, Ted's had enough after this. He's like, you know what? Nah, I'm out. And so he goes to leave. Robin then confronts Lily. Lily reveals that she just misses having guys hit on her. And this is where I found an error in continuity. Lily says that she hasn't been single since high school. But she meets Marshall in college.
And she's single.
And technically, yes, it's like orientation, but she was single before that, and she was out of high school, technically.
Yeah, technically.
You know, so if she had been like, I haven't been single since the summer after high school, I could have bought that because it's literally like freshman orientation. But technically, she was not single since high school.
Yeah, it is true.
Just saying. It's just a little bit of an error, but I was like, I had to put that down. The guy, the gay guy who's been talking up Lily, comes back with some club soda to help her clean the stain, and this is where he says, "Show me that booty." And so he's like dabbing her butt with a towel to try to get the stain out. And this is where Marshall comes in and instantly gets jealous, and he is ready to throw down. He even says, he's like, "Come on, hombre," which I thought was really funny because I watched episodes 2 and 3 back to back. And in both of those episodes, somebody uses the term hombre because Carlos says it on the roof.
He does.
He's like, "Yeah, no sweat, hombre," when Ted says he needs a minute with Robin.
Yeah.
And then we got Marshall with a "Come on, hombre." I guess they like the word hombre. I don't know. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah. Marshall is relieved when he finds out that the guy is gay because Marshall says he's never been in a fight before. And this could be a continuity error. Because we later on find out that him and his brothers used to hardcore go at each other. But I was reading something that suggested that maybe he doesn't consider that fighting.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? And so, like, this may be more of a reference to the fact that he's never fought someone outside of his brothers.
That's
he's never
possibility because, he even makes the comment when, I'm pretty sure it's the episode where they Carl in the wig. Not Carl. Oh my God. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't remember his name now either. But yeah, Marshall makes a point then where he's like, I really don't fight, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there. And so, I mean, maybe he just considers that roughhousing then. And
yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of to kind of keep it not as an error is that he just doesn't consider it as a fight. But Then, so he gives the guy a hug because he's relieved. He's like, "Oh, I've never been in a fight before." And he just hugs him. And then the dude's boyfriend comes in and just takes Marshall down. And this dude is small. He's a small guy.
But he was decently jacked.
He was. But, I mean, like, he was short.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because Marshall and the other guy are actually really – because, like, Marshall's, like Jason Segel's, like, 6'4" or something like that. And the other guy, like, they were, like, around the same height. So, like, he could be, like, a normal height dude. Like, he could be, like, a 5'9", 5'10" kind of dude. And he just looks real short in comparison.
True.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. But he just looked extra short. So then Barney convinces Ted to go to the Liberty Bell after Barney gets kind of vulnerable about their relationship with one another. And somehow he was able to get the cabbie to go to the Liberty Bell without Ted knowing. I thought that was funny. Then back at the bar, Ted is telling a cute girl about their adventure, about how they went to the Liberty Bell and licked it. And he talks about, she asks, like, what did it taste like? And he's like, it tasted like freedom. No, actually, it tastes like pennies, which I thought that was funny. And that's like the classic kind of funny, awkward Ted who's actually good at flirting.
Yes.
But he always acts like he's not good at flirting, even though, dude, come on. You're killing it there. Like,
I was going to say, he was killing it in the bar.
Yeah, man. Like, there's so many times where it's like, dude, this guy's got so much game, yet he always acts like he doesn't have any game.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. So then future Ted, his kids ask if that girl was their mom, and to their chagrin, he says no.
Nope.
And that's how they end the episode. So, John, thoughts on that episode, on episode 3, Sweet Taste of Liberty?
Well, like I said, this is one of my favorite episodes. Like, this is my favorite episode. And for a multitude of reasons. I love that, like you said, it's the introduction of the legendary. It's the best legendary. As well. I love that, you get all the dynamics of Marshall and Lily's relationship in this one. You get to see how Robin, even though she is a member of the group, she is the outsider.
Yeah.
Ted and Barney's relationship, plus, the dynamic of the three guys in general. And I think that's always been a really cool dynamic because this show doesn't just focus on Ted. Ted can be out of an episode completely and the show would still survive because it can focus on everybody else's story furthered. And I mean, there's episodes later on that, like, Ted's story in the episode is very little. Mm-hmm. So this episode, though, is, like I said, my favorite, especially because of looking the Liberty Bell.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great one. And I didn't realize it was so early on. I really thought this was later on in the show. So yeah, it was fun to be able to go back and see that one again. All right, so it's that time again, folks. It's time
for Barney's blog.
Barney's blog. That's right. I threw a little something on there for you, John. Threw a little something on there.
Threw a little stink on there.
All right, this week's blog, dated Monday, October 3rd, 2005, is titled "Lick My Bells." It's a good title. I like it.
It is.
So the blog entry starts off with a paragraph that gives us a little information about Barney that I didn't know until I read this. It says, earlier this week, I had the good fortune to consummate yet another legendary chapter in the story of Barney when I tongued the rim of the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. Relevant factoid. I have now licked every national monument in the continental United States. I mean, I think that's kind of awesome. You know what I mean?
That is awesome.
It's like something that's like, I didn't know that was a thing. So he's got like a list and kind of like a ranking and like almost like a little review.
I was reading the blog, and yes, without going into detail, because it is a decent list.
Yeah.
He has them listed in his order of like the way like he ranks them, kind of. There's a taste preference to them, like what they kind of tasted like, the scale, like he's got like details, like some small detail about it.
Yeah, he gives them like weird number scores for taste, atmosphere, patriotism, and security, which I think is kind of funny.
Yep.
All right. And so I just kind of wanted to go through where he went,
Absolutely.
what he's licked, and just kind of get our thoughts a little bit on that. So he's got the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. He's got the Hollywood sign in Los Angeles. The Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. So right there, those first three, all on the West Coast. He must have been traveling over there or something.
Maybe, but I mean, at the same time, though, a lot of those are public too, where you can just walk right up to them.
It's true. Then we've got, we head back to the East Coast. We've got the Statue of Liberty, obviously in New York City. This one I thought was great. The U.S. Constitution, the National Archives in Washington, D.C. It's like, all right. And then last, but certainly not least, well, technically it's not last because last is the Liberty Bell. But last on this list is the Alamo, San Antonio, Texas. It's like he just went there and licked a giant fort.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
He licked the Alamo. Oh man, that's good stuff. I thought that was a great little tidbit to learn about Barney. You know what I mean? Something that
I don't know where I knew that from, but I knew the fact that he had licked the any national monument that was in America. Yeah. I knew he licked them. So I don't know where I learned that from, or if I had possibly read that blog before.
Maybe. Yeah, it's very possible. But it's a cool fact nonetheless.
No, it's an absolutely cool fact. I will not know. That is badass.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think that about wraps up episode 3 of Last Call at McLaren's. John, let us know where everybody out there can find you.
Well, you can find me on Twitter at SimplySaneJ1. Find me on Facebook. Find me, pretty much anywhere you can. I'm going to be funny here for a second. Can also find me on Twitter at JPRAYNOR.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to find you there. Because that's where I can be found. At JP. That's JPRAYNOR. And John loves it when I say that.
I do.
Also, right down there at Movieblog Merc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with the Movie Blog, mercwiththemovieblog.com. I've been doing a whole lot of trailer reactions lately on the YouTube channel, so check those out. You can also find me at DC Comics News on all the social medias. It's dccomicsnews.com, where I talk all things in the world of DC Comics. And of course, it's true. And you can find both of us on our wrestling podcast, Off the Ropes with John and Josh. That's at Off the Ropes JJ on all the socials. And, of course, right here with Last Call at McLaren's. You can find us on Twitter right down there at Last Call HIMYM. That's Last Call HIMYM for How I Met Your Mother. Be sure to check us out there. Also on our Anchor feed, it's the same. It's anchor.fm/Last Call HIMYM. And leave us some questions, comments, anything. You can do voice messages over on Anchor, right here on the Merc of the Movie Blog YouTube channel, where you'll be watching this. You can leave us comments there or right on Twitter. We want to hear it. So let us know what you guys think of the show so far. If you got any suggestions, let us know.
Absolutely.
All right. Any final thoughts, John?
No, not really.
Right.
Like I always say, this is a How I Met Your Mother podcast, and you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here.
That's right. Catch you guys next time.